Oh boy, a new Elden Ring patch. I wonder if they fixed that one bug that annoyed me. Oh my god. Hey guys, AlphaSeagull here. Remember how a month ago I talked about how Sword Lance is the best guard counter weapon? Well, technically that wasn't true, but realistically it was. Backhand blade weapons have a completely insane motion value for guard counters, like we're talking twice as strong as second place, not including hand-to-hand weapons, which I don't really understand how that motion value works, but whatever's going on, the damage is very inconsistent and bad. So why didn't I use backhand blades in my video? Well, for one, the guard boost stat sucks hard. So even if you're landing deflects, you'll be taking a lot of stamina damage and get overwhelmed easily. But more importantly, it was bugged, and the attack wasn't getting boosted by guard counter buffs, which meant it was missing out on a 116% boost that it was supposed to be getting. Guess what bug they secretly fixed in the latest patch and didn't include in the patch notes? That's right, we're doing this again. I know I'm not the only one to notice this, because I just noticed while writing the script that Clanky made a video where he uses it, but nobody's talked about how insane of a change this is, or made a build around it, you feel me? Right, so stick Royal Knight's Resolve with Blood Affinity on that bad boy, level 60 Vigario as you should almost always do, then 14 Endurance and split the rest of your stats between Strength, Dex, and Arcane. I don't know if this is the optimal spread for it, I never checked, but it's not going to matter too much, just do whatever you can. Keep in mind that we'll be getting plus 5 Dex from a Talisman, so take that into account. Put on White Mask, full Rakshasa set, Curved Sword Talisman, Millicent's Prosthesis, Winged Sword Insignia, Rotten if you have it, Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Thorny Tier, and Deflecting Hard Tier. The idea is that since the attack is a multi-hit, we can supplement the two-handed, Spear Talisman, and Blood-Sucking Tier buffs with multi-hit buffs. Now we're going to be using Bleed instead of Madness with this setup, but if you want to go Madness like we did in the last video, you can absolutely do that. Just do the exact same setup with 80 Dex on Keen Affinity, and ignore Strength and Arcane. A fully stacked guard counter can deal roughly 20k on Radahn, which is weaker than the 26k we get from Sword Lance, but that's only because Radahn is weaker to thrusting damage. That said, there's a few reasons we're going with Bleed on this build. We're not losing as much damage from the affinity change, Bleed works better with the rest of the weapon's playstyle since it's a strong weapon regardless if guard counters are involved. We're actually likely to proc the Bleed before the boss dies, and since we have less guard boost, we can't just block a bunch of attacks waiting for the perfect moment to throw everything into a single guard counter, so it's helpful to not be on a 30-second timer for that. So yeah, the buff setup is relatively simple. Physic, Blood Boil, Vow item, FP Flask, and Walk Through. If you think you'll be attacked in the next few seconds, cast Royal Knight's Resolve and deflect until you have an opening, then let her rip. Rinse and repeat, feel free to use the rest of the weapon's moveset when appropriate, and make sure to manage your stamina and not miss any deflects because that will mess you up. Also, I made the mistake of not talking about this in my last video. Deflecting is when you block at the perfect time, like right before the attack hits you. If you've ever played Sekiro, it's exactly like that. Easier than a parry, but still requires some timing. I kind of figured everyone who watched that video would at least know what the item does, but to be fair, the game doesn't explain it very well. Anyways, despite the health bar, this is a super hyper aggressive glass cannon build, and while powerful, it's very tricky to work with. So I've set this build up with a few safer alternatives. If you can't handle reapplying Royal Knight's Resolve over and over, you can just use Cragblade instead, and ignore the rebuffing part of the build. If you can't handle deflecting reliably, you can swap the whole weapon with Curse Blade Cirque, which has much higher guard boost and therefore more reliable blocking. Then ignore weapon buffs entirely. If you don't feel like you have enough health, swap Blood Boil with various body buff alternatives, they'll all kind of work. If you don't want to farm the Golden Vow item, there's aura buffs alternatives for that too. Keep in mind that the combination I'm using has the best damage, so don't expect to replicate my damage numbers if you're making these changes. Elden Ring has a very balanced risk-reward system. Builds that require more work to get running are generally going to be stronger than the easier ones. That's just how it goes. That's not to say simple yet strong builds don't exist, but that's a video for another day. For now, get to shredding those health bars, see you next time, do the algorithm crap.